The secret to getting rich isn't hidden, it's protected. Not by locks, not by laws, but by distraction. They don't hide the rules of wealth, they drown you in noise so you never learn them. In 1513, a man who had lost everything sat alone in a farmhouse outside Florence. Arrested, tortured, exiled, destroyed. And instead of writing about failure, Niccolo Machiavelli wrote about power. That book was called The Prince, and the men who quietly built banks, corporations, dynasties, they studied it. Not for politics, for leverage. Today, we are breaking down the psychological principles of wealth pulled from Machiavelli, Marcus Aurelius, and the Stoics. This will make some people uncomfortable. Good. Dark truth number 1. Nice people finish broke. Here is what Machiavelli understood that most people still refuse to accept. The world does not reward virtue, it rewards positioning. He wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." People misunderstand that. It does not mean cruelty. It means this: approval is rented, positioning is owned. If you need to be liked, you can be controlled. If you can be controlled, you cannot accumulate power. The man who says yes to everything builds nothing. The man who avoids negotiation pays invisible taxes. The man afraid of conflict subsidizes everyone else's ambition. Nice is often just fear in disguise. Fear of rejection, fear of tension, fear of being seen as selfish. And fear is expensive. Stop asking, will they like this? Start asking, does this increase my leverage? That shift alone separates employees from owners. Dark truth number 2. Your emotions are draining your net worth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Most people read that as philosophy. The wealthy read it as strategy. Every major financial mistake is emotional. Buying from excitement, selling from fear, overspending from insecurity, undercharging from self-doubt, quitting from frustration. Emotions compound faster than interest. Wealth is rarely blocked by ignorance, it is blocked by impulse. The Stoics called this slavery to passion. If you cannot control your reaction to money, money will control you. Marcus Aurelius managed an empire during plague and war, not because he was the smartest man in the room, because he was the least reactive. When others panicked, he calculated. When others celebrated, he prepared. The gap between reaction and response, that is where fortunes are made. Dark truth number 3. You were programmed to stay where you are. Here is the part no one tells you. Your money beliefs were installed before you could spell the word money. If you heard money does not grow on trees, you learned scarcity before strategy. If you heard rich people are greedy, you learned guilt before ambition. If you saw stress every time bills were mentioned, you wired wealth to anxiety. And now you are trying to build abundance with a scarcity operating system. Machiavelli observed that most men never escape their birth conditions, not because they lack talent, because they lack the will to override conditioning. Your mind prefers familiarity over freedom, even if familiarity is broke. To get rich, you must deliberately think thoughts your environment never modeled, aggressively, repeatedly, uncomfortably. Most people won't. That is the advantage. Dark truth number 4. Wealth requires controlled obsession. This is where people get nervous. Seneca wrote that extraordinary men share one trait: obsession. Not balance, not moderation, not dabbling, obsession. The world rewards intensity. It tolerates moderation. It forgets balance. Machiavelli called it virtù, relentless, focused application of will. He who is everywhere is nowhere. Scattered effort creates scattered results. Concentrated force creates leverage. For a season of your life, you will need to disappear, to friends, to distractions, to comfort. People will call it unhealthy. They will tell you to relax. They will say this while living financially average lives. Ignore them. Not arrogantly, strategically. Build in silence. Machiavelli lost everything and wrote about power. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire without losing emotional control. Seneca built enormous wealth while preaching discipline. None of them waited for permission. None optimized for approval. All understood psychology before money. The dark psychology of getting rich is not evil. It is uncomfortable. Because once you see it clearly, you lose the right to blame anyone else. No system, no boss, no parents, no economy, just you. And that level of responsibility is terrifying, but it is also the only place power begins. If this shifted something in you, share it. Most people won't watch this twice. The few who do, they're the ones building something. Subscribe to Timeless Thinkers. We don't chase trends, we study what built empires and we apply it. I will see you in the next one.